Welcome along. It's another new podcast. It's Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Only our third episode that we've done of this brand new football podcast. A very warm welcome to you and a very warm welcome to my good friend and former professional as well, Alan Tonge. You all right, Al?
How are you doing, Anthony? Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Very good. Well, what we've got coming up for you in this particular episode of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing, we're going to be doing the result to the very first Alan's away end. We'll be reading out the answer to that, plus anybody who got it right. There'll be a new Alan's away end as well, where you can actually win prizes as well, believe it or not. We've got another competition for you, a true or false competition, where you can all join in. And then we're going to be having a discussion around VAR as well. We're going to try and put the wrongs of VAR right on this particular episode of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. You can get in touch with us as well here, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, and you can reach us on Twitter as well, fulltimetw on X, if you want to get in touch with anything that we might discuss on tonight's podcast, or indeed anything that you want to discuss about football. This is a football podcast for absolutely everybody, and if you got a subject you want to talk about, send it in to us and we will talk about it. But I think, Al, there's only really one place that we can start, really, isn't there? Since we recorded the last podcast that we did, unfortunately we've lost a rather influential figure from the world of football, that being Kevin Keegan, and I think it's probably only right that we show our respects and pay our tribute as well to Kevin Keegan, who was a wonderful football talent.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Sad loss to the football world, Anthony. You could tell from all the outpouring of all people at different levels, different countries, how respected and revered Kevin Keegan was in the game. Had a really, really good career, didn't he? When back in the days, where your top sides used to go fishing in the sort of lower leagues to get some bargains, and Kevin Keegan starting off at Scunthorpe and ending up going to Liverpool under Bill Shankly, and then carving a fantastic career out for himself. Little dynamo of a player, wasn't he? Full of energy. And incredible. I honestly didn't realise this until it sort of came out in the news, and twice won the Ballon d'Or, the only British footballer to do that, which was an incredible feat, really.
You're probably a bit more fortunate than me, Alan. I never really got to see him play. Obviously, I've seen the clips and other people have talked about him. Obviously, I witnessed him as a manager. He had success at Manchester City, maybe not so with England, but he was a humble kind of guy, wasn't he? He admitted it didn't go right for him at England.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. His dad was a miner, wasn't he? I worked down the pits, and I think he sort of got those traits off his dad, stayed very, very humble. I listened to a very quick Graham Souness story on Sky Sports when he was saying that somebody let him down, Graham Souness, for this dinner answer, something like that, in Scotland. And he said, who can I ring? So he gave Kevin Keegan a ring. He was a few hours away. And he said, just give me a couple of minutes. And he got back on the phone and said, I'll see you shortly. I'll head up. And he said when he got there, Souness said to him, we'll cover your expenses. Don't worry about your fuel and stuff like that. He went, no. He said, stick it all back in the charity. And, that he's probably done that millions of times, Anthony, for different people. That's the type of person he was. And as you said right at the beginning of the little tribute there, what an outstanding person and what a humble person, as well as a superb footballer. What a humble man and, a role model, Anthony, a role model for any sort of young players coming through and making the way in the game.
Yeah, Kevin Keegan, fantastic footballer and a model person for our sport as well. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Kevin's family and friends at this very sad time. Right, what else have we got coming up for you on tonight's podcast? Well, let's do the first result to Alan's away end. In case you missed the first two episodes that we've done a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing, then Alan's been placed into a football ground, in the away end of a football ground, more specifically. And on his first trip out, he gave us 3 clues as to where he was at. The ground was built in 1897. It was a Euro 96 venue, and it was originally named the Old Peacock Ground. I think I've got that right, Al, haven't I?
That's correct, Al.
Yeah, so go on, Al. Tell the listeners, where were you last time out on this podcast?
Yeah, so I was sat in the away end at Elland Road, Ant, for the first one.
Fantastic. Congratulations to Al Yates, who had 2 goes at it. In fact, the first one was wrong, but he did get it right on the second go. And Wayne Goodison as well. Both got it right also as well. Well, we've moved Alan on, and he's now at a new football ground, sat in the away end, or could even be stood in the away end, depending on where he's at. Al, your first clue, please, to where you're at on this edition of Full Time with Tonge Wareing.
Okay, and so a tough one to start. Let's go with the year again. So this ground was built in 1883, and it's the second longest continuously used ground in English professional football.
There you go. Where is Alan on Alan's away end? Another couple of clues coming up before we end this edition of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. But if you think you know it already, you can email in fulltimewithtw@gmail.com. And we're also on X as well. @fulltimetw is where you can get in touch and drop your answer as well to that. We've also got some prizes to give away if anybody gets it right. Just give us a little bit more on that as well, please, Al.
Yeah, so we've got some quite unique mugs that have come through the post, Ant, so which was nice. And originally we had Top Bins Talking Rubbish printed on the mugs, but unfortunately we've had to have a little bit of a tweak around with it. And now we've got Full Time with Tonge and Wareing on there, so a really unique mug there for somebody if they kind of can win one of the competitions that we're going to set over this next few weeks.
Money cannot buy these prizes. That is until somebody does win one and sticks it on eBay, of course. But right now, money cannot buy a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing mug or a pen. Have a go at that competition. We've also got a score prediction competition going as well. We'll be giving you the fixtures that we're doing on the score prediction competition towards the end of this podcast, and we've also got another competition running very shortly. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But Al, I just want to touch on a couple of stories from around the world of football. We'll start with some transfers. Alejandro Garnacho's gone to Aston Villa, I see.
Yeah, that's a strange one. Clearly, Xabi Alonso's not got him in his plans at Chelsea, so he's been obviously told, or the agent's been told, that he needs to try and move him on somewhere. So I think it's initially on a season-long loan, isn't it? So yeah, he needs to get his act together. He burst onto the scene with Man United, looked a real proper footballer, and just seemed to be stalling a little bit, questions over his attitude. Obviously, he didn't manage to get into the Argentinian World Cup squad. So an opportunity for him to try and do something at Villa. See how that pans out, and he's going to have to be careful, because if he doesn't pull any trees up at Villa, you're going to be struggling. All of a sudden, your career's starting to sort of go downhill a little bit. So an opportunity for Garnacho to try and do something this season with them.
Morgan Rogers, of course, has gone to Chelsea as well. He was at Aston Villa. He played in the World Cup semi-final, Morgan Rogers. I can't remember exactly what the fee was, Al, but that's another big money move.
It is, yeah, it certainly is. There's a lot of, a few clubs splashing the cash, isn't there, to Morgan Rogers, as you say, quite a decent footballer. Had a bit of a sort of a strange route to the top, but he's got there in the end. Played okay in the World Cup on the appearances that he did have. Obviously set up one of the goals, didn't he, in the game against Argentina that Anthony Gordon managed to score. So a little bit of pedigree there, and he secured himself a really good move and an opportunity for him to push his career in the right direction, Ant.
One that caught my eye, Al, this week was actually from the Championship, and it was a name who was at one time, I think, touted to be a really big thing, a really sort of good player, up and coming, bursting onto the scene, young player, and that's Tariq Lamptey at Brighton. Has left Brighton and has gone to Queen's Park Rangers, and that to me is just an example. Sometimes, Al, it doesn't always work out for you.
It doesn't, and you get a lot of youngsters, don't they, sort of showing precocious talent, and they sort of burst onto the scene, and they have a few good games, and and then it tends to sort of die away a little bit. So as you say, an opportunity for him to try and get his career moving again, try and knock some goals in, and you're right. And I think when we first kind of seen Lamptey, he was like a sort of a standing out a little bit, quite a pacey player. So yeah, down to QPR to see what he can do. See what he can do down there.
Of course, many clubs, in fact all clubs now, of course, will be back or approaching pre-season, and the transfer window, of course, is still open. If you want to send us your transfer window rumours, or maybe who you think your club should be signing in the transfer window, maybe you agree with it, maybe you don't agree with it, then you can email us here fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, and on X as well, at Fulltime TW. We will try and do, actually, a transfer window special, if we can, when the transfer window closes, which I don't know in this particular transfer window, Al, when that exactly is. But we will find out, and we will try and do a transfer window special as well. But you can email us here, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com. At fulltimetw is our X handle as well. A couple of other stories. One that caught my eye yesterday, of course, pre-season is well underway for many clubs, and Watford were involved in pre-season action yesterday. They took on Hansa Rostock of the German Third Division. And get this, Al, 6,500 supporters of Hansa Rostock turned up and took over the away end at Vicarage Road. That's outstanding, isn't it?
It is for a pre-season game. Alan's usually playing in front of one man and his dog, aren't you? So, to sort of have that sort of away following, sort of come to over here to watch that game is incredible, really. And just a quick mention, Ant, Man United, my team, they'd had a good result at Rosenborg on Friday. Brought a lot of youngsters in the squad at the moment who were trying to make a mark, and some of them were really, really impressive. Shea Lacey especially. They beat Rosenborg 5-0. My other team as well, Exeter City, had a good win against Western-super-Mare on Saturday or yesterday. They won 2-0. So their sort of winning habits off and running now, and it's nice to see. I think pre-season's always about trying to get your team fit and get your playing patterns going, but just tagged onto that, it's always nice to have little wins as well, isn't it? So a couple of wins there for Man United and Exeter. Has your team had anything and been doing anything yet? And Preston,
you know what you're doing here, don't you, Al? My team, Preston, are in Benidorm at the moment, or they were in Benidorm. They took on Cambridge and lost 1-0 to one of the most ridiculous goals I've ever seen. I can't help thinking they're in Benidorm for other reasons, Al, but we best not go. We best not go there. But yeah, not been the best pre-season so far. They lost a behind the closed doors game to Sheffield Wednesday, and then they went and lost to Cambridge United as well. But we'll gloss over that and we'll move on, because in the first edition that we did of this podcast, we did the managerial merry-go-round, and it seemed like there were loads of managers swapping clubs during the close season. We've actually lost one today before a ball's been kicked. Stuart Maynard has left newly promoted York City. Before a ball's been kicked. A statement read out today said there was a difference in direction and vision for the football club. I mean, wow, newly promoted, back in the Football League, you spent years in the wilderness, and your manager who's guided you back is no more, he's gone.
Crazy, Hans, isn't it? Like, we often talk about the crazy world of football, but, a lot of supporters just can't get their head around that at the moment. Obviously the season's not far away now with the Carabao Cup first round, and I believe York have been in Spain, and I saw on the social media.
Not been in Benidorm, have they?
Oh, God, I don't know what's gone on there, Ant, at all. So good grief. But, what a strange kind of move that, Ant, isn't it? Getting rid of your manager, like we've not long to go. So, yeah, something really, really strange there's happened. And, something might come out, Ant, over this next few days that we're unsure what's gone on. Yeah,
indeed. So, right, well, before we get into our VAR discussion, we've got another little competition for you right now, where you can either win a full-time with Tonge Wareing mug or a full-time Tonge Wareing pen. And this is a true and false competition. I'm going to read out 3 statements here, Al. 2 of them are true and 1 of them is false. And all you've got to do is work out which is the false statement, okay? And they're all from the world of football, or current events from the world of football. So here we go. See if you can work out which one of these is false and which is the other 2 that are true. You ready, Al?
Yeah, go on.
A referee sent himself off. That's the first statement. A referee sent himself off. A second one is a dog recently prevented an open goal and stopping a team from scoring. And the third one, a goalkeeper was replaced by his twin brother at half-time without anyone noticing. Now, all these are said to have happened in professional football from around the world recently, but only one is false and the other 2 are true. Al, we're going to throw this open to the listeners. They can email us in, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, or on Twitter as well. Do you want to have a quick go at that? Which one do you think of those is false?
If I was having a go, and before you kind of reveal the answer on the next pod, I'll probably go with the dog. Dogs seem to have a little bit of history, don't they, in getting in the way of football matches, and there's been a few dog action, hasn't there, over this last sort of period, so I'll plumb for that one, Ant.
Okay, quick reminder, a referee sent himself off, a dog prevented an open goal and a team from scoring, and a goalkeeper was replaced by his twin brother at half-time without anyone noticing. 2 of those statements are true, 1 is false. You've got to work out which one is false. All will be revealed on the next episode of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Coming up next, we're going to be putting right the wrongs of VAR. You're listening to Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Myself, Anthony Wareing, just a regular football fan, and Alan Tonge, ex-professional, formerly of Manchester United and Exeter City, of course. And you as well. You can get in touch with us here on the Full Time with Wareing and Tonge podcast, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, at fulltimetw on X. Right, Al, I'm going to read you a statement here, which nicely leads us into our next topic and tonight's main topic on the podcast. I'm going to define irony for you, the word irony. All right, bringing in a system to eliminate controversy, only for the system itself to become football's biggest controversy. I am, of course, talking about VAR. But before we start that discussion, Al, let's have your second clue, please, on Al's away end.
So the second clue, Ant, is in 1922, this ground that I'm at hosted its only FA Cup semi-final.
Where is Alan Tonge on tonight's Full Time with TW podcast? You can email us fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, at fulltimetw. Answers will be revealed on the next podcast. Get your guesses in now in the chance to win yourself a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing mug, or indeed a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing pen. Right, Al, VAR, how are we going to put this right?
Yeah, it's a strange one, Ant, isn't it? I think that we kind of clamoured for this to come in, didn't we, like a few years ago? If my memory serves me right here, I'm not too sure if Man United were involved in one of the first pilots on VAR. I'm not too sure if they were playing Huddersfield away, you know. And I remember the first ever kind of VAR that came up to check something. I'm not too sure if it involved Juan Mata, and the lines were all like squiggly and bent and all that. And you think from there, you're thinking, oh my word, how is this going to solve football and try and get something a little bit fairer? Since those days, I think there's been a lot of controversy, to say the least. And I posed the question on my social media link and, seem to have, I would say, Anthony, 99.9% would get rid of VAR tomorrow if they could. I think it stops the flow of the game. I think when your team scores, you're always looking for the lion-o or the referee, or you're checking player positions. And I think that kind of exhilaration and that joy has been kind of taken away from football, Anthony. So
I'll be honest, Al. I've never, you know, as well as many other people do who know me, I've never been an advocate for it, but I can see a need for it as well, because there are still so many on-field decisions which the referees and the assistant referees don't get right. But I mean, it's so laboured, isn't it? It's so laboured, VAR. It's not snap decisions. It's not quick decisions. We seem to be taking an age to come to the right decision. So something somewhere's got to improve.
Yeah, absolutely, Anthony. You know, you look at some of the other sports that employ it. I think cricket do a fantastic job with what they do. I think rugby league's got it right. Obviously tennis is slightly different, but they don't seem to waste time on their calls. Decisions are kind of made in an instant, aren't they? But because football's so interpretive and it's like you can look at things in different ways, I think that's what's kind of spoiling the VAR situation at the moment, Anthony.
Did you notice in the World Cup recently, there were many decisions whereby a ball would go out of play, either for a corner or a throw-in or a goal kick, and the VAR would intervene straight away and tell the on-field official, no, you've got that wrong. That's a goal kick. That's a corner kick. That happened on more than one occasion that I can remember in many games that I saw from the World Cup. Why can't we employ VAR to make decisions like that? Why do we have to draw lines on a pitch when somebody's toenail is offside.
Yeah, well, that's it, and I think that's what they're trying to change, aren't they? Is it? I might have got this wrong or read it somewhere. I'm saying it's quite random, but are they bringing daylight back in again or something like that? Way there's got to be daylight between the kind of the forward player and the defender to rule.
I tell you what, there is, Al. There's plenty of daylight between the ears of some of these people that bring in these things, because the two words I'm going to mention here are clear and obvious. Now, I thought that was what VAR was brought in to try and clear up, but it seems to me as though we have to draw lines on a pitch and look at technology, look at videos and all the rest of it. Is that not taking away some of the dignity and some of the good officiating, which actually some referees and some assistant referees do give us on match days?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great statement, is it? Clear and obvious. And as you said, they don't seem to be adhered to these sort of rules and situations. Just going into the World Cup there for a couple of examples, the Argentinian goal, I think it was it Martinez who got brought down, and they sort of like Egypt attacked and scored on from that. They brought it back, didn't they? And then there was a debatable one, I think, in the England-Argentina. Maybe, I don't know, it was the winning goal, wasn't it, Ant?
Yeah.
Where I think Messi clipped somebody in the box, didn't he, when he was challenging?
Yeah, did, yeah. Yeah,
and it kind of like hopped around a little bit, and the referee waved play on. But again, if you slow that down, Anthony, he's definitely caught the lad there, and arguably that maybe should have been looked at, but it wasn't. And that tends to be the sort of the situation, and doesn't it? There seems to be decisions that go your way, which is amazing, and when it goes against you, the world's ending, isn't it? There seems to be a lack of consistency with it.
Do you remember the incident from the Premier League? I think it was a couple of seasons ago now, when Liverpool playing Spurs, and the VAR. I can't remember the incident exactly, but I think there was something, a decision given by VAR, which was hopelessly wrong in that game. So it's not clearing up anything, is it? It's still all right. They get the majority of the decisions right eventually, but at the end of the day, it's just a guy sat in front of a screen.
Absolutely. I remember, I don't know if this was the same game, Anthony, but I think it was the ball got played into one of the corners of Anfield, I think, and for some reason, VAR didn't cover that area. When you get the ball back to you off a corner or something, and I think somebody was stood in an offside position, but because the VAR didn't cover that area of the field, they couldn't do anything about it. So lots of improvements. And as you say, and if the listeners can just sort of get involved and tweet us through, email us through, this is what we want on this programme.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listeners getting involved and giving us their views and opinions. And as you say, and as the podcast gains momentum, we'll cover all sorts of football incidents, won't we?
Definitely. As we get on our soapbox on this podcast, we want you to join us as well. Fulltime with TW@gmail.com, at fulltime TW as well on X. Al, I know you've got some comments in already about VAR from the listeners. Do you want to give us some of those?
Absolutely, and so as I said, 99.9% is get rid. Steal on, get rid. Takes away your spontaneity, still inconsistent, virtually nothing going for it. Big Jim, I think it's useful tool in the hands of corruptible idiots. Should use a challenge system rather than re-reffing matches. Let's have a look. Anthony Elliott, it has to go. Referees are not perfect, we know that. But how sooner they made the decisions as they see them. Freer, get rid, goal line technology, yes, a thumbs up for that.
I will say at that point, Al, goal line technology, it does work, but then goal line technology is a different thing, isn't it? You've either got a goal or a no goal, and that is clear.
Absolutely, and Mark Taylor, change it. Give each manager 3 challenges. Let the referee the game.
Something they do in rugby league. Yeah.
Yeah, red hue, get rid. Terrible for the match going fan. Let's scroll down. I've got loads that come here, so thank you so much for the people who've tweeted. Rob Carlisle, my mate at work, it'd be the first thing to go for me. Ruins the match going experience and designed for the armchair brigade. And then let's have a look. Top red Sai, bin it in an instant. It's killed all the natural emotion in the game, which is what made the game great. So as I say, and thanks for all those tweets that you've sent in, and 99 9%, Anthony. Get rid of it.
Right, I'm going to take the contrary position now, Al, because while it seems as though everybody wants to get rid of it, and I'm not an advocate of it either, if we had it 60 years ago, Maradona's goal in the 2-1 win over England in the 86 World Cup wouldn't have stood, would it not?
Exactly, and there's a few, Anthony. There's a few.
Frank Lampard against Germany in South Africa. That's another one.
Yeah, absolutely. There's loads and loads that we could point to, isn't there?
There is loads and loads, and VAR will continue to remain a controversial subject, despite the fact it was brought into football to clear up most and nearly all of controversy. I will say this, Al, they run it in Scotland as well, in the Scottish Premiership. I know there's a clamour for it to come into the Championship as well, and the WSL, they're also a big advocate for it as well. They don't know what they're letting themselves in for, do they not?
Absolutely, Ant, absolutely. And just before we sort of move past this, Anthony, I want to just go with the 0.1%, because just because 99.9% have said get rid, that doesn't mean that the 1% is wrong.
Absolutely.
So we got a tweet coming from Tony. It's Tony _06_05_65, who said, maybe unpopular, but I would say keep it.
Ooh.
Yes, splitting hairs and all that, but in the end, they mostly get it right, and it prevents unjust results more than not.
There you go.
Thanks for that, Tony. You're in the keep brigade.
You've got to say, Al, there's definitely there will be opinions that are for it out there, and I do have to say, 95% of the time I would say they get it right. What annoys me, Al, is the amount of time it takes to get it right.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the crucial element, isn't it? I think some VAR decisions have gone ridiculous, haven't they? It's like 4 and 5 minutes you're waiting, aren't you, for a decision? So that's what spoils it.
Absolutely. Well, you can have your say as well. fulltimewithtw@gmail.com if you want to join the VAR debate. If you send those in to us, and you can tweet us as well at fulltimetw. Also, we will read them out for you on the next podcast as well. We've got Alan's away end running. He's given us his first and second clue. We've got the true or false competition as well. But next, we're going to remind you of the score prediction competition. That is, you're listening to Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. You're listening to Full Time with Tonge and Wareing, brand new football podcast that likes to talk about every aspect of the game, whether it's Champions League or Sunday League, and you can get in touch as well. If you've got a story that you want to talk about, then you can email us fulltimewithtw@gmail.com. @fulltimetw is available for you as well on X. Send us in now, and if we think it's worthy of being talked about, then we're happy to discuss it right here on Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Al's away end is up and running again. Your chance to win a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing mug or pen. He's already given us his first and his second clue as to where he's currently situated. Al, can we have your third and final clue, please?
Yes, Ant. So the stadium that I'm in is situated on a way which is named after a manager who won the 1959-1960 First Division Championship.
There you go. Quick reminder of the first and second clues as well for those that might have maybe just joined the VAR discussion.
So clue 1 was the ground was built in 1883 and is the second longest continuously used ground in English professional football. And clue number 2, in 1922, the ground hosted its only FA Cup semi-final.
There you go. Send your answers to fulltimewithtw@gmail.com. You can also tweet us as well at fulltimetw if you want to have a guess at where Al is currently situated. He's in the away end of a football ground. It can be anywhere in the country. It can be anywhere in the world. From Al's clues, send us your answers now for your chance to win yourself a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing mug or a Full Time with Tonge and Wareing pen. We've also got another competition up and running as well. This is the true or false competition. I'm going to read out 3 statements, 3 incidents that have happened in the world of football very recently. Okay, all you've got to do is decide which one of these is false for your chance to win one of those fabulous prizes, which money cannot yet buy. Here are those incidents. A referee once sent himself off. A dog prevented an open goal and a team from scoring, and a goalkeeper was replaced by his twin brother at half-time without anyone noticing. These have all happened in the world of football very recently. Only one of them, though, is false. You've got to tell us which one of those is false. Alan, which one did you think it was?
Well, I've gone for the number 2, the dog one. Like as I said earlier on, I think the dogs have kind of been involved in certain football moments, haven't they, over football history. So I'll plump for that one, Ant.
All will be revealed on the next podcast of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Don't forget, of course, we've also got up and running a score prediction competition. Coming up in just under 2 weeks' time, it's the first round of the League Cup, and we've picked out 6 ties from that competition where we want you to give us the final score on 90 minutes. Remember, these ties could go to penalties, but we want the full-time score on 90 minutes. You've got to try and beat myself and Alan Tonge. We've gone for QPR against Millwall. Alan went for a 2-0 win for Millwall. I went for a 1-0 win for Millwall. Burton against Blackburn. Al went for a 3-0 win for Blackburn. I went for an upset here. Burton to win by 2-1. Leicester against Northampton, where Al went for a 2-0 win for Leicester. I went 4-0 Leicester. Sheffield Wednesday against Bolton. Bolton to beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-1, says Al. I went for a 2-2 draw. Colchester against Southampton, where Al says it's going to be a 2-0 win for Southampton. I agreed with him. And then the final one, the Devon Derby, Plymouth against Exeter, where Al says that it's going to be a 2-1 win for Exeter, and I'm sitting totally on the fence and going for a 1-1 draw. If you want to have a go at our score prediction competition, then again, the email address is the same, fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, and on X as well, @fulltimetw. Right, what have we got coming up on the next podcast of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing? Al, we love an away day, don't we?
We certainly do, Ant.
And we also love our favourite away grounds. We want to know from you, what is your favourite away ground to go to? You'll no doubt be the supporter of a football club somewhere. You can't give us your home ground. We don't want that. We want your favourite away ground. Now, I think probably my idea of a good away ground probably differs from anybody else, Alan, because I like a ground with character. I like a ground where maybe the unusual, or maybe it looks a little bit unusual. I don't know if you're the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think those traditional old grounds are starting to die now, unfortunately, aren't they, and being replaced by, brand new spanking ones. So, I particularly, one of my favourite away grounds was Goodison Park, but obviously they moved into an absolutely superb new stadium now. So yeah. In our travels, Anthony, that's a tough question, is it, for the following the Grecians around? Just because sometimes you go with the results more than kind of being in the ground, don't you? But maybe Edgeley Park at Stockport, like an old worldy ground that sort of I've got quite a few memories at that ground as well. So probably go with Stockport County.
Yeah, there we go. Well, we will be revealing, if I can get my words out, we will be revealing our favourite away grounds on the next edition of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Plenty to coming up as well. After that, we'll be doing our transfer window review as well. We'll also be looking ahead to the new EFL season as well as the new Premier League season. We're going to try and do a bit on the WSL, and we are even going to try and get, believe it or not, 1 or 2 guests on as well from the world of football. More to come on that in future episodes, but that's about it for this particular edition of Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. Don't forget to have a go at the score prediction competition. Alan's away end is up and running. We've got the true and false competition as well. fulltimewithtw@gmail.com, @fulltimetw as well on X. Al, it seems like we've gone through a lot of things there in a very short space of time, but nevertheless, highly enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we've covered lots of bits and pieces there, and as you say, what we'll try and do, and we'll try and keep the pod as punchy as we can, and we'll try and cover as much as we can.
Thank you for joining us on Full Time with Tonge and Wareing. We'll see you again next time. Full Time with TW@gmail.com, @fulltime on Twitter as well. Until then, have a great week. See you soon.